Good evening and welcome to Kini News. Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin made a special announcement regarding the new COVID-19 standard operating procedures today.
Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin unveiled tougher control measures to control the spread of COVID-19. This includes the implementation of a full movement control order on several states and territories.
Dan untuk itu, kerajaan telah memutuskan untuk melaksanakan Perintah Kawalan Pergerakan PKP atau MCO untuk tempoh 14 hari bermula jam 12.01 tengah malam Rabu 13 Januari 2021 hinggalah 26 Januari 2021. Perintah ini melibatkan 3 peringkat pelaksanaan seperti berikut. Pertama, PKP ke atas 6 buah negeri. Saya sebutkan 6 buah negeri. Apa dia negeri itu? Iaitu Pulau Pinang, Selangor, wilayah Persekutuan, ini masuk Kuala Lumpur, Putrajaya dan Labuan, Melaka, Johor dan Sabah. Ini PKP. Kedua, PKP bersyarat, PKP-B. Ya, ini juga ke atas 6 buah lagi negeri, iaitu Negeri Pahang, Perak, Negeri Sembilan, Kedah, Terengganu dan Kelantan. Ketiga ialah PKP pemulihan. Macam mana yang pernah kita buat dahulu, PKP-P. Ini akan dilaksanakan untuk negeri Perlis dan Sarawak.
To reduce the risk of infection and to break the COVID-19 chain, Muhyiddin said social activities involving large gatherings will be banned for states under MCO and conditional MCO, similar to measures during the MCO in March last year. These include wedding receptions, conferences, religious parades including Thaipusam, meetings, seminars, courses and group sports. Interstate travel will also not be allowed nationwide, and inter-district travel will be prohibited in MCO areas. For the economic sectors, only those on the essential economic sector list will be allowed to operate. These are the manufacturing, production, construction, services, trade and distribution, as well as plantations and commodity sectors. However, he said only 30% of their administrative staff will be allowed to operate from the office. Dine-in is not allowed, and all eateries are only allowed to operate for takeaway and delivery only in MCO areas. Meanwhile, students who are taking major examinations this year, such as SPM, will be allowed to attend school with strict SOP, which will be provided by the Education Ministry.
Right now, we take a look at the country's latest COVID-19 situation, brought to you by Blue Air.
Malaysia recorded 2,232 new cases of COVID-19 today. 6 of the cases were imported. Out of the local cases, Selangor recorded the highest number of new cases with 557. This was followed by Johor with 396 cases, Sabah with 374, and Kuala Lumpur with 204 cases. Sarawak also reported 3-digit new cases with 153. Most of the new cases in Sarawak were reported to be in Miri, which had 93 new cases. Miri, alongside the Kuching and Sibu districts, will be placed under conditional movement control order restrictions for 2 weeks beginning Wednesday. There were 187 patients in the intensive care unit, with 87 requiring ventilator support. The Health Ministry also reported 4 new deaths today, taking the death toll from COVID-19 in the country to 555. 3 of the deaths were reported in Selangor and 1 in Sabah.
Women, Family and Community Development Minister Rina Harun is the latest minister to test positive for COVID-19.
Women, Family and Community Development Minister Rina Harun has tested positive for COVID-19, according to a statement from her office. The statement said Rina was tested at the Putrajaya Health Clinic yesterday morning, received her result last night, and has been warded at the Sungai Buloh Hospital since earlier this morning. This came after Minister in the Prime Minister's Department, Mustafa Mohamad, tested positive for COVID-19. Mustafa's office had confirmed yesterday that his COVID-19 results returned positive on the night of January 9th, after he took a test upon arriving in Kota Bharu, Kelantan. There was no mention of Rina's recent movements, but it is understood that all ministers who attended last Wednesday's cabinet meeting have been told to get themselves tested for COVID-19. According to sources in Putrajaya, around 10 of them were also ordered to undergo isolation, having been identified as close contacts of the minister. For the record, Mustafa has since been taken to a hospital in Kota Baru, Kelantan for treatment. Bersatu leaders have also been told to get tested for the virus as a precaution, following a Bersatu Supreme Council meeting on January 6 that Mustafa had attended. This is according to Bersatu Information Chief Wan Saiful Wan Jan. In a statement, Wan Saiful said the meeting was conducted in accordance with the Health Ministry's Standard Operating Procedures, SOP. However, he added that all Bersatu Supreme Council members and others present at the meeting have been instructed to get tested for COVID-19 and to also take the necessary measures in accordance with the Health Ministry's SOP.
The government has agreed to obtain an additional 12.2 million supplies of the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine, bringing the total amount of Pfizer vaccines procured to 25 million doses.
The government has signed a deal to buy an additional 12.2 million doses of a COVID-19 vaccine manufactured by US and German drug makers, Pfizer and BioNTech, the Health Ministry said in a statement. Health Minister Dr. Adam Baba signed a manufacturing and supply agreement with Pfizer Malaysia today. The deal brings the total amount of the Pfizer vaccines procured by Malaysia to 25 million doses, enough to cover 39% of the population. Meanwhile, the agreement signed today involves the procurement of the initial vaccine doses, which will be supplied starting the end of February. That supply will be able to cover 20% of the population, with 2 doses per person, said the Health Ministry in a statement after the signing ceremony. The agreement was signed via a live conference between Health Minister Adam Baba on behalf of the Malaysian government and Pfizer, who was represented by its country manager Loksanawan Tangpebol. In his speech, Dr. Adam said the Malaysian government appreciated the support given by Pfizer and hoped the vaccines could arrive earlier than expected. On January 8th, Science, Technology and Innovation Minister Khairi Jamaluddin had announced that the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agency, NPRA, had given the green light to the Pfizer-BioNTech COVID-19 vaccine. While the government was still waiting on a few additional information from Pfizer, Khairi said the NPRA approval means the vaccine can be used in Malaysia.
The Prime Minister's office has also denied rumours regarding Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin's health.
Speculation that Prime Minister Muhyiddin Yassin was undergoing cancer treatment again was not true. This is according to a statement by the Prime Minister's office. In a short statement today, the PMO described such reports as malicious, saying the Prime Minister had been confirmed free from cancer by medical specialists who treated him. They added that there was also no truth to claims that a Deputy Prime Minister would be appointed. The statement came following reports by some news portals which speculated that a minister was expected to be appointed as Deputy Prime Minister, allegedly to pave the way for Muhyiddin to seek treatment in Singapore.
Coming up after the break, Democrats have begun their drive to force US President Donald Trump out of office. Stay tuned. Welcome back. With just a few days left in his presidency, US President Donald Trump now faces a renewed drive by Democrats to remove him from his office after he incited his supporters to storm the US Capitol.
US House of Representatives Democrats plan a vote on Monday to urge Vice President Mike Pence to take steps to remove President Donald Trump from office after his supporters' deadly storming of the Capitol before attempting to impeach him again. The plan, which was sent out by House Speaker Nancy Pelosi in a letter to members on Sunday evening, came as Washington struggles to decide what to do about the Republican president in the 10 days before Democratic President-elect Joe Biden is sworn in on January 20th. Prosecutors have filed dozens of cases related to the attacks in federal and local courts. The FBI confirmed late on Sunday it had received over 40,000 digital media tips, including videos and photos, from the public in connection with Wednesday's Capitol violence. Trump, who has without evidence challenged the validity of Biden's election victory, had praised and egged on supporters before they laid siege to the Capitol, where lawmakers were certifying the Electoral College vote for Biden. Lawmakers were forced to flee as the building was mobbed by Trump supporters, many wearing hats with his slogan and waving flags with his name as they overwhelmed security forces. In her letter, Pelosi said leaders of the Democratic-led House would attempt on Monday to pass a resolution calling on Pence to activate the 25th Amendment of the Constitution to declare Trump incapable of fulfilling the duties of his office. If Pence does not respond, Democrats would proceed with impeaching the president for a historic second time. There was also support among some Republicans for Trump's departure. Senator Pat Toomey, a conservative backer of Trump until recently, told NBC that Trump's resignation as soon as possible would be best for the country. Trump's last public event was his speech to the rally of his supporters on Wednesday, although he released a video on Thursday that some at the White House saw as a concession. He later announced on Twitter that he would not attend Biden's inauguration. After the violence, which followed months of posts by Trump and his supporters attacking the U.S. election process, Twitter permanently suspended Trump, who relied on it as one of his most direct ways to communicate with backers.
Spanish authorities announced that they will be sending convoys transporting the vaccine and food supplies to those in need after 8 inches of snow fell in just one night across central parts of the country.
The Spanish government is forming convoys carrying the COVID-19 vaccine and food supplies to areas cut off by the heaviest snowfall to hit the country in decades. Storm Filomena has so far killed 4 people across central Spain, and in the capital Madrid, rescue workers worked to reach 1,500 people trapped in cars.
Que va a ser muy compleja.
It's going to be very complicated. We're facing extremely low temperatures. Snow is disappearing, but there's a lot in the road and it's starting to freeze and ice is appearing.
Y tenemos ya pues algunas placas de hielo.
Police even broke up a large snowball fight after authorities appealed for citizens to stay at home to avoid the risk of accidents and for their own health. Forecasters warned of dangerous conditions in the coming days, with temperatures expected to fall up to -10 Celsius next week and the prospect of snow turning to ice and damaged trees falling. About 100 workers and shoppers have spent 2 nights sleeping at a shopping center in a town north of Madrid. Spain's transport minister announced they will be sending convoys transporting the vaccine and food supplies to those in need, after around 20,000 kilometers of road around Spain became blocked because of snow.
And that's all the time we have this evening. For more stories, you can go to KiniTV.com. Don't forget, we also post the latest headlines to our social media, so follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to get the latest headlines. Remember that if you're going out, please wear your mask. And if possible, and according to our Prime Minister, it's another MCO, so please stay at home. I'm Daniel Anthony. Thank you for watching. And as always, stay safe, Malaysia.